Good day everybody, this is BA Ready and Dawn, and we are here to discuss how does Attack Speed Clash 4 actually work. I've done a little bit of extensive testing, and I think I have it pretty much dialed in, so let's get into showing you guys, okay? The skill's kind of nutty, but I actually kind of like it. It's fun. Okay, so first off, we're gonna practice warp. I'm gonna show off the warping ability of this, okay?
It's already done.
I do not object. All right.
As ordered.
Festival.
Yeah, so we're just gonna show off the
I'll
warping.
handle it.
Lord Asker, guide us.
So, he doesn't have a C slot. I gave him a silver sword, so he's not getting any other buffs. So, he can only move 3. 1, 2, 3. But with
Of course.
Ash, he can move 4. And he gets plus 10. Technically plus 14 before that's from Ash, right? So, right here he's getting plus 10 to attack and speed. Over here, he's getting plus 10 to attack and speed. So this skill actually counts warping. So long as you warp more than 4 spaces away, you're perfectly fine. Now, with the skill is where things get kind of interesting. Like with just Seliph by himself, this is where things get interesting. Skills. Air to light, so now you can move an extra space. Okay. So. Selph's a little weird, okay? But I think, to me, this makes perfect sense. So look, right now,
As ordered.
he moves 4 forward, he's got plus 10.
Truly?
If I go like this,
All right.
this.
Together.
So right now he's getting plus 0 because he's not moving any spaces. That's 2 spaces plus 8, 2 spaces plus 8. So 2 spaces and 2 movement, 2 spaces, 2 movement. 4 spaces, no, 4 movement, but it only counts itself as 2 spaces. Now, there's actually a specific reason the game does this, okay? Basically think as this skill is counting as if you're warping. You're not moving, you're warping all over the map, okay? This skill is basically, hey, you're warping, here's some stats. Now, even though...
Of course.
So, ignore the fact that he has 4 movement, okay? Right now, movement and spaces are separate classifications. They are not the same. So this skill is going, okay, if you were to warp to this spot, it's only
As
2
ordered.
away. So you get the plus 8. But if you go all the way down here, you're warping 4, so you get plus 10. That's how this skill is working, okay guys? It has nothing to do with movement. Forget movement. Yes,
Of
he can
course.
move 4. But that doesn't mean all the time you're getting 4 spaces. You can't tell me that 1, 2, that 2 is 4. He's moving 4, but he's not, like he's using 4 movement. He's not moving 4 spaces here. He's moving 2 spaces from his starting point. So yes, the skill does say, like it does say space, not move. It could do with saying like a different space from starting point or spaces away from starting point in this part. X equals number of spaces moved away from starting point. That'd be like the perfect way to word it, but even now, I looked at the skill, I found a video on YouTube, and I was like, no, this is not broken, this is not glitched, this is not mistranslated, this is actually how the skill works. The skill is basically putting us in a state of, like, not auto, but like, constant warp, okay? Pretend you have pass, okay? Everyone knows pass, everyone knows what pass does.
As ordered.
If you passed through Duma right now, would you be using 4 movement? No, you'd be using 2. This skill basically says, hey, you have a pass equipped, basically. Like the skill pretends you have pass. It doesn't pretend you have 4, like it counts pass and Like, it counts movement and spaces as two totally separate things. They're not combined anymore, guys. Just because you move for space, or just because you use 4 movement doesn't mean you move 4 spaces. I keep getting caught up in explaining this because that's how we're programmed to think. That's not the case anymore, okay? This skill doesn't give a crap about how many spaces, how much movement you have. It's the spaces you move. Now, to show why, to give an example as to why the fact that, like, it would actually be worse if it said movement. Well, okay. If it was movement and not spaces, then...
Of course.
Even with Seliph over here, like, if he were to warp, like I showed you guys before, where he got plus 10, he'd get nothing, because he's not moving those spaces. He's going straight from one space to the next. That's why this skill doesn't care about movement, is because it only cares about warping. So equip this to your units that fly in with Wings of Mercy. Equip this to units on frickin' Duodogger Pathfinder teams, okay? That's what the skill is heavily supporting right now. It doesn't care about your movement, it cares about your spaces moved. So warping, especially Wings of Mercy strats, is phenomenal right now. You can give this to, like, what's the... Yeah, you could give this to, like, an infantry unit and have them warp in with Ash and they'll still get plus 10. Because they moved 4 spaces, not because they have 4 movement. They don't. That's how this skill works. Think pass. Think constant warping. And you'll know how to best utilize this skill, okay? And I just gave you guys hints and like told you guys how this skill is meant to be used. It's meant for Wings of Mercy strats. It's meant for warping. It's not meant for movement, because it doesn't care about your movement. It cares about your warping. If it said movement, then this little shenanigan would work.
Together.
But it wouldn't work for warping then. It would only work for movement. If the skill said it for movement. If you use however many moves, like how many tiles moved, that would be movement. This is not tiles moved, this is spaces moved, okay? Anyway, I just wanted to clarify that because I've seen a lot of comments about people being kind of upset about it, that it's like bugged, mistranslated, just broken, this game is screwed up, blah 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 blah. It's really not, guys. It's working how it's exactly meant to be. Seliph is not really moving 4 spaces. The skill is not treating it as movement, it's treating it as warped. He warped 4 spaces away. He warped 2 spaces away. He's in a the skill puts the unit in a constant state of warp, so if you're gonna use a skill, use a unit that warps, or use a unit that aids with warping. And this skill will be phenomenal. Ascended Florina, Ash, Wings of Mercy strats. Isn't Summer... I think Summertana as well is a warping unit, so like any of these units can warp your units around the map. That's what the skill's based for. This is what it's made for, so utilize it for that. And rock it to victory and beyond! So, if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down in the comment section below if this explanation helped you guys, if it made your confusion worse. If it did, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. That's just how I think of it, and to me it makes sense now, because like, again, it's not movement, it's warping. You can go to the other side of the unit, you can use 4 movement to get there, but you're only warping 1, 2. Right? Or pretend you have pass. Whatever works for you. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, like I said, like, comment, subscribe. And let me know if this helped you guys. Anyway, it's 2 in the morning, 2:15, so I'm gonna sign off. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.